with Robert Nagle. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
And Tony Hunt.
Hey, good morning.
And these are two of the stunt workers for Ford versus Ferrari. So how are you guys doing?
We're doing great. We're glad to be here.
Well, you're having a great time. Thanks for having us.
All right. So what made you guys interested in working with stunts?
Oh gosh, I kind of I raced all my life, and so I kind of just segued into the stunt business through a networking of friends that were also in the business and racing as well, and it just seemed like a natural sort of transition for me at the time, and I got a good opportunity, and it just sort of snowballed from there.
I feel that, yeah.
I used to race as well, not as long as Tony did. And along the way, I'd met guys doing what we do now. And I got hired to do some race stuff, kind of like Tony did. And what I found was there was a creative side that it filled for me that I didn't realize I needed. And so I gravitated toward that. And that whole creativity of designing and developing the stunt work and what you see on film is what really keeps me in this industry. I really enjoy that aspect of it.
I feel that, yeah. So, what is your favorite project that you guys have worked on? You don't have to say Ford versus Ferrari since that's where we are, but like if you have something else.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it definitely is. It's Ford versus Ferrari, just because of the history and my involvement in racing and really how the movie came out. So obviously, it's going to always stay up there on #1. But we've both done some really neat projects with the Fast and Furious series and other movies that we're proud of and that were exciting. And for me, I mean, I've got little kids, so they're always the big critics as well as what the stuff that I do. So it's every movie's got its own little characteristics, but certainly Ford versus Ferrari will always stay up there on the top.
Yeah, kids can be tough critics.
I'm a stunt coordinator on this. Got to design and develop all the action that you see. So Ford, Ferrari, but also Baby Driver is another one of my all-time favorites, and stunt coordinators on that as well. But just designing, developing all that, and the teamwork involved in both of those projects are really amazing.
Can you describe the process of working with stunts? Because I feel like a lot of people sort of know of that side of film but don't really know much about it.
Well, there's a lot of complexity to it. I mean, you're always, there's a lot of different camera angles involved, and a lot of times, especially with the vehicles, you've got cameras that are mounted on these vehicles, and a lot of those cameras are, in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. So, there's a lot of that complexity involved that people don't really realize that, not only are you having to deal with the car's capabilities and that dynamic qualities, but also, you've got cameras involved, and you've got people that are in close proximity, and all those things that raise the level of concern and safety of the set.
I think just really designing the action to make it exciting, but then I've got to balance that because it's my job to make it exciting, but it's also my job to keep him safe and everybody around him. So it's really pushing those envelopes and getting that balance, and how close can we get to that. And like you said, there's cameras and actually more than 100. They're $500,000 to $1 million in cameras and lenses. I feel I've pushed the limit when all I'm doing is we haven't broken anything, we haven't hurt anything, but we've come close.
Are you ever afraid of getting hurt? Because, I feel like that is kind of a big concern with a lot of people, how dangerous it could be.
Yeah, I mean, in every element, there's a concern of safety involved. But I think, if you grow up in kind of the racing environment and you've been around that environment, you kind of, not say immune to it, but your threshold of where you are able to drive a car and the capabilities of it and to stretch out some of the, the scenes and stuff as far as intensity goes is, a concern. But I don't think that you think about that because, Robert and the rest of the departments, they're always trying to, especially in our industry, they're always trying to overcome, any type of accident or and misfortune, especially on the set. So, there's a lot of eyes, so to speak, in regards to the safety of it, and you have to be proactive yourself though, and make sure that what you're dealing with and the elements on the day when they say action are always in your control, so to speak.
As the coordinator, it's my job to try and think of anything that can go wrong and doing everything I can to mitigate that issue, or if it does happen, we have contingencies to deal with it. So it's really just a lot of planning and preparation.
Yeah, that's important. And so finally, if a kid wanted to get into stunt work, what would you recommend?
Depending on which genre, I mean, stunt industry, there's so many different specialties in regards to the stunt industry. You can be a guy that, does free falls, or you can be a fight scene, kind of someone that just focuses on that, and that's their, main talent, to their whole, career. But, I would suggest to be super diversified, not only be a good driver, but also, be really athletic, start out in gymnastics. For me, being that I came from a driving background, I'm kind of segued into the stunt driving industry, and for me it's fine. I enjoy it, and there's a good volume of work that we're able to acquire, and you keep with, like I said, a lot of some of the same people that are on the same mindset as you, and you all work within the same little networking group.
You really need to come to the table with at least one unique talent that really sets you apart from everybody else, and be very good at it. Having a broad spectrum of talents is good, but really it's become more focused on specific talents and hiring people for that specific spot. Otherwise, I'd say find another industry, because it's a tough one.
All right, well, thank you guys so much for talking to me.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. So one thing people do at the Shelby Museum is they sign their names on the wall as sort of like a way of leaving their mark. And as you can see, a lot of people have signed over the years. And I think that's really interesting, because there's just like a massive wall of all these different signatures. And like, that there's a story there. I'm here in front of the thrill ride where I'm going to be riding in that car. I'm not actually going to be driving. I don't have my driver's license yet, but it sure does look exciting, so I will be going on that now. I just got off the thrill ride, and I don't necessarily feel dizzy, but like I feel like, okay, I need to sit down or something. That was super cool, and yeah, I really did feel like I was like in an epic chase scene. So that was the Ford versus Ferrari event, and honestly it was a blast. I really liked talking with Robert Nagle and Tony Hunt. I really liked the champagne celebration thing, and I especially really liked the thrill ride. And yeah, that'll be it for this video. If you like it, make sure to check out Kids First and of course the other Kids First reporters, and I will see you all later. Bye-bye!
I thought the whole point was to win the damned race.
If this were a beauty pageant, we just lost. Looks aren't everything.